It's the college football playoffs, and we break down the two semifinal matchups and give you our best bets. And it all starts right now. Hey guys, it's Matt from GrandSlamBettors.com, and we'll get to those semifinal matchup breakdowns and picks in just a moment. If you're new to Grand Slam Bettors, though, make sure you hit the subscribe button so you get all those picks and predictions in the year 2022. While you're at it, smash that like button if you are ready for some semi-final college football games. I know we are. So, without further ado, let's dive in to the first matchup between Alabama and Cincinnati. This one's in the 3:30 p.m. time slot. Spread in this one is 13.5 in favor of Alabama, and the over-under is at 57.5. Cincinnati coming into this game 13-0. Big reason for that is because their quarterback, Desmond Ridder, having a phenomenal year. 65.9 completion percentage on the season. He's had 36 touchdowns, 30 passing, 6 rushing, and has also rushed for over 300 yards. His ability to extend the pocket with his legs makes it very hard for defenses to put pressure on him, and that's a big reason why he's only been sacked 20 times this season. However, Alabama's leading pass rusher this season has 15.5 sacks. That is Will Anderson Jr. This guy gets in the backfield so quickly, and his athleticism would really allow for him to stick with a quarterback like Ridder. And he is a huge reason why Alabama has been very good at defending the run. This season, they're only giving up 82 yards per game on the ground. It's going to be a key matchup to watch in this game as Cincinnati's offense really hinges upon getting the run game going behind Jerome Ford. He's averaging 6.2 yards per carry, has 19 touchdowns on the season, and if he can get going, this is going to force Alabama's defense to drop guys back in the box, and maybe Ridder then can make him pay with his arm or his legs. Now, their top 8 receivers, they're all averaging 10 yards per reception for Cincinnati, but if they're not able to run the ball against this Alabama defense, it will be much harder for Ridder to find these guys down the field against a very good Crimson Tide secondary. Now, on the other side of the ball, Alabama also boosts a very good quarterback. Don't know if you've heard of him. Maybe Heisman Trophy winner Bryce Young. This guy's thrown for 4,000 yards on the season and 43 touchdowns. He's made some unreal plays with his legs as well all season long. Now, he will be without his favorite target, John Mechie III, who tore his ACL in the SEC championship game, but Jameson Williams has also been just as dangerous down the field, and actually he probably will be a top 15 pick in the NFL. He leads the team with 1,400 receiving yards and 15 touchdowns. Crimson Tide also have a good running game. They can run as well, probably on the Cincinnati defense, if they get things going in the passing game. Brian Robinson Jr. runs the ball hard out of the backfield, and if he can make that first guy miss, he's elusive in the open field. Cincinnati's given up 137 rushing yards per game this season, and he's going to have a big opportunity to have a monster game in a big spot here for Alabama. Now, both Alabama and Cincinnati rank in the top 10 in points scored per game this year. Combined, they're putting up 81 points per game. In addition, both these teams like to go up-tempo offense. Alabama and Cincinnati also rank 5th and 11th in yards per play this season. So both these teams know how to get the ball into the end zone and how to do it quickly. They also, though, have great defenses, or they wouldn't be here. They rank 6th and 7th, respectively, in total yards per game. However, as we just mentioned, both these teams have quick scoring attacks, and we think this one will have a handful of massive plays down the field. So, with our best bet in the Goodyear Cotton Bowl, we're going to take Alabama, Cincinnati over 57.5. Now, the second college football playoff game is between second-ranked Michigan Wolverines and the third-ranked Georgia Bulldogs. This one is in primetime, 7:30 p.m. Eastern. Spread for this one, 7.5 in favor of the Bulldogs, and the over-under is set at 45.5. Now, offensively, Michigan is a run-first team behind their running backs, Hassan, Haskins, and Blake Corum. These two guys have combined for over 2,000 rushing yards this season and 31 touchdowns. However, Georgia has the third best rushing defense in college football, and a big part of that is because of a 315-pound defensive lineman, Devontae Wyatt. The Crimson Tide, though, they did a very good job of getting him off the field more by going up-tempo offense, and if Michigan can follow this strategy, get him off the field more, they can do what they've done all season long, and that is run the ball successfully. Georgia, though, still has other guys on defense that are very good at stopping the run. So it's not going to be essentially a given if you get them off the field, but it certainly would open up the run game more for the Wolverines. Now, Michigan really needs this to happen as Cade McNamara has only thrown the ball for 4,700 yards this season. Alabama did a nice job putting up 400 passing yards against Georgia in the SEC championship game, but that was Bryce Young. This is Cade McNamara we're talking about. Offensively for Georgia, if we look on the other side of the ball, where they struggled the most against Alabama was on third down conversions. They only went 3 for 12 in that game, which resulted in them punting the ball 4 times, and they actually attempted 4 fourth down conversions in which they only converted 2. Quarterback Stetson Bennett also had 2 interceptions in that game. One was a pick 6, so he needs to bounce back in this one for sure. Now, this was because Alabama's front 7 was able to produce pressure on him. The bad news for Georgia is Michigan also has one of the best pass rushers in college football, defensive end Aiden Hutchinson, who has 14 sacks on the season. Georgia's going to need to contain Hutchinson to give Bennett time in the pocket so he can find his receivers down the field and threaten that Wolverine secondary, one that only gives up 194 yards passing per game. Now, when it comes down to it, neither of these teams statistically threw the ball much this season. Both quarterbacks on these teams have under 2,500 passing yards, and their top wideouts on the teams have less than 800 yards receiving. Michigan has one of the better secondaries in college football, and it's going to be interesting to see how Bennett and this Georgia offense does against them. But the bigger matchup that you want to watch in this one is between Georgia's defensive line and Michigan's offensive line. In their last 2 games, the Wolverines have run the ball for 508 yards, 10 touchdowns, and they've been averaging 6.8 yards per carry. Now, Alabama showed that this Georgia defense has its weaknesses, but Michigan has the weapons on offense to actually expose them. This should be a very hard-fought game between 2 physical and fast defenses on both sides of the ball in the Capital One Orange Bowl. And as much as we absolutely hate to back this team being a Notre Dame fan, we're going to take in the Orange Bowl Michigan plus 7.5 over Georgia. Now that's it for us here at Grandstand Bettors. Remember to check out our Patreon, only $6.99 a month, and it helps support our channel, and it gives you a member pick each and every day. Also, while you're at it, head on over to grandstandbettors.com, become part of our family, and start living that grandstand life. But as always, sit back, relax, enjoy the college football playoffs, and we'll see you next year.